All right. Hello. Good morning. So I got some feedback on the RC8, the release candidate for the SDK. So we're gonna, even though this cycle is about like observability and streamlining our support, I'm still gonna fix a few things. And I moved all my stuff. I didn't know that Linear actually had a desktop app. That's pretty awesome. So I moved all my notes into my own Linear project, and now it looks much better. This is something I can deal with, and then I'll just paste the Slack link instead. And what we're gonna focus on are some of these aren't strictly like bugs, but yeah. So I made some updates to, this is what we're going to test first. I made a change to, let's see. Stream, I believe. So that when we actually open Sandbox, maybe I should have, do we have something that's like, so that the preview protocol script is injected at the actual top of the head. And the preview protocol script doesn't do much. Like it does add, like if it's in an iframe, it adds like some React dev tools and stuff. But other than that, it's not blocking anything. So I think it was just a bug that we injected it between the end of the head and the start of the body, because it should actually be at the start of the head, because we're overriding the WebSocket primitive in the browser for some local host proxying. So that needs to happen at the very beginning. So we're going to take a look at Vite not found. Okay. Yarn install. So we need to, I think this is deployed to staging now. So we're just going to verify that this actually works. Okay, yarn help. How do I clear the cache? Yarn cache. How do I clear the yarn cache? It's funny how, well, not in this case, but oh, is there? Oh, there it is. Cache help. Oh my god. Is there like a clear? How do I clean it? No default. Check files. Okay, is it like yarn force? Oh, okay. I figured it out. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna get this running. We're gonna check the preview to see if the script is in the correct position. And then if it's not, we're gonna fix that. And then we're gonna look at these bugs. And one thing we need to do is that we need to extend the timeout for the SDK in general for talking to the API, because we have this general 2-minute timeout with the infra, which should reflect that in the SDK. Even though something taking 2 minutes is too long, there's something wrong then, but at least you won't get like a gateway error. That doesn't make any sense. You'll just notice that things takes more time than you're used to, and then you would rather report on that instead of it failing. And then we're gonna make a change to how we connect to a sandbox. And I really like this because this is gonna create consistency. And I'm reflecting on making this part of 2.0.0. So that you don't actually connect on the sandbox. Oh, look at this. Can we try now? Yarn dev. Open externally. That's easier. You actually import connect to sandbox from an endpoint. Where's the... Oh, look at us fixing things. Amazing. It actually worked. Amazing. I'm just gonna create an image here. I wish I could like use Slack. Oh. Yeah, I wish I could use Slack. But it wouldn't be it wouldn't be good if I were using Slack. Share. Isn't there like a share? I want to share with my other computer. AirDrop. MacBook Air. Yeah. Showing Finder. Nice. Okay. No, we don't. Sorry, we don't have an update on that. And I need to answer them about this. Oh yeah, wait, I can go in here. Cool. That's that. That's great. So yeah, and the reason is that someone was reporting that the WebSocket wouldn't always proxy correctly, and that is because the script was running like async down in between here, and up here you would have Vite kind of initializing the WebSocket, and then it wouldn't be ready to handle it. Cool. And what's the next thing? Let me check linear. Look at this. Okay, we're gonna do this 2-minute timeout thing first. Let's see. So we already have some code for this. When was that? Here in build? Timeout. No, where did we put that? Wasn't it here? It was when we create the client. Maybe we do that here? No. Oh. You don't need that stuff. I thought it was here. Create client. That's cluster client. Wait a minute. No. Wait, where's that? Oh, sorry. It was, we're passing a signal specifically on VM start. Yeah, I remember now. So the sandbox is VM start. Start VM. Here we are. So we need to generalize this. So we're gonna move. How are we gonna do this? I think, oh, this is tricky because we need to pass this signal. And we need to clear the timeout. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, okay. I think I know what we're gonna do. So we need a new utility, which is called export function with custom timeout. But we really want to have it for No, I think it makes sense. Custom timeout, because not everything needs this town out. Oh, interesting. So that's not what we're gonna do, and I don't think we really need to do this. We can do promise, and then yeah, and let's make this timeout seconds. That's gonna be 120. Let's document this. Our infra has 2-minute timeout, so we use that as default. And basically what's gonna happen here is that this is gonna be an async function, and then we're gonna do try, and then we're gonna do finally, and let's move that. Where did it go? Let's just copy this thing, and then we're gonna remove what's not supposed to be there. So we're not gonna do the catch here. We're not even gonna do any of this. We're just gonna return the promise. Return promise. Return await promise. Or it won't run the finally. Oh no, wait, sorry. We do have to, and this needs to be a signal, abort signal. Yeah. And then that's gonna return a promise, so you can add the signal to the thingy. Callback. And we're gonna pass the signal, and we're gonna await. Have to await for the finally to run, but we're still. So we're awaiting it here, and that's gonna throw an error. So if we're awaiting it on the outside, that's gonna be fine. Yeah, we need to test this, but I think it's fine. With custom timeout. So what's gonna happen here now in sandboxes is that we're rather gonna do, we don't need all of this. We're just gonna do await, yes, with custom timeout. Well, we don't need that. And then we're gonna get the signal here. Yeah. So we still have the correct thing. We still have our... oh. Okay, no, we're gonna move this one as well. So we don't even have try catch here. We just do the thing. And yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Great. That's exactly how it's gonna work. And we really need to test this. So let's do that. Let's just try to build a template, and then we're gonna have like super short. Oh, look at that. Signal with custom. So let's just make it like super short. Oh. Npm run build. So when we try to build a template now, it's gonna be failing horribly. Yeah. Great. Perfect. Happy about that. Now we just have to make sure that whenever we like shut down or hibernate or resume or whatever, Yeah, resume is start VM, so that's fine. Await with custom timeout. Signal. Okay, so I think this one's fine. Yeah, and it even starts VM here. Well, hibernate, we need. I'm still not back in shape. Let's see. Okay, so we do that on hibernate. And then I think we can actually do it here as oh, we do say this shutdown, and that has a custom timeout. Okay. Cool. I want to say that's actually fixed now. Okay. So one thing though is how are we gonna, yeah, this is nice. So now we can say verify. Yeah, exactly. And this one is also, I guess, in verify. Hibernation. Yeah, I guess we can close that one. Or delete that one. Or did I have... Oh yeah, there I had the thingy. Sorry. Let's just make that also verify. Yes, so now let's do the create session thing. And I just wonder if we're gonna make this change. Like we are having a breaking change now. It's just a little bit difficult to, if someone updates. No, I think we're gonna make that change. It makes sense because we already are doing breaking stuff. So, okay, let's see. So we're gonna do, we have bin, browser, new folder, node. Now we can move node agent client. Yeah, we can just move this stuff in here now. And then we can delete this. And then on Sandbox, we're not gonna have connect. We're gonna move this. Well, not the whole thing. No, sorry. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, let's just move it first and then see what happens. So that already has an index of, what's this index? Oh, look at that. We still had a import from Fisher client. What's this index? Oh, sorry. This is the whole thing. This is really the node agent client. Let's see. Where's the... Oh, there you are. Oh, that's a... Yeah. Rename agent. Ah, and now I removed it again. Rename to agent client. What are you complaining about now? Oh. Oh, let's move that in there as well. Cool. Oh, sorry. Agent client interface. That should not be node. That should actually be up here. And this should point to. Yeah, exactly. Let's just restart the TS server. Okay, and then we're gonna have a new index TS here, which is gonna export async, connect to Sandbox, and export async function. And we're not gonna do this. We're gonna have, there's something called the browser session, Sandbox browser session, but we're not gonna call it that now. We're gonna call it Sandbox session. And that's the thing we're actually gonna, oh, do we already have that? What are we gonna do about this? So, okay, one thing we didn't reflect on. Okay, so we have one problem. So if we remove, fuck. We have an issue, which is, well, maybe not. Well, kinda. The thing is, when you create a session in Node, we need to connect to the sandbox if you have like Git credentials or environment variables, because we have to write some stuff to the sandbox. And in Node, we don't really have to disconnect that connection. Unlike in the browser, we have to disconnect that connection and then we're sending the session down to the browser and then we connect again. But in Node, you could reuse that connection. So maybe we need, maybe we need to have create browser session and then create Node session, and then they actually give different types back. Yeah, I think that's gonna help as well, so you don't import the wrong thing. And yeah, okay, let's do that. So we have create browser. Oh. Because the point is that, oh, but this is still wrong. No, it can take a different return type. No, I want to normalize it. So yeah, we rather have to optimize how we create the session so we don't have to connect to the sandbox, that we can actually just do it through the API. Yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. So let's see. What were we doing? Let's see, sandbox, sandboxes. Yeah, we have this index, and this is gonna take, just like the browser, this is gonna take the sandbox, but it's not gonna be called sandbox browser session. Do we ever reference like a sandbox session without? Yeah, we do. Sandbox options. Okay, do we actually use that? Oh yeah, that's internal sandbox session. Yeah, okay. And then we have the actual sandbox browser session, which includes Hmm. What are we gonna call this? I wonder if we should rename. So that's sandbox session data. Yeah, I'm confused by all these sessions. So we have sandbox session data. This is what's coming from the API. And then this is what we're actually returning. Sandbox session. Why do we have n there? Yeah, no, I don't think we need. We definitely don't need n there because we're not passing it. Okay, we're gonna clean up a little bit here. So this is sandbox session. Where is this being used? Oh, it's not being used. Okay, great. So let's call this sandbox session rename to DTO. This is the data transfer object. And then this is gonna be, the sandbox session. Cool. This global session, are we using this now? I don't think we're using it. Let's drop that. Okay, let's see now. So what we want to do is, this is gonna get a session. Sandbox session. Yes, and we're not gonna create the session. This is gonna return. Did we call it session here as well? Sorry. Yes, all of this connect stuff actually needs to happen inside. Okay, so let's change this. First of all, let's not remove it from. Oh, can't undo. Dagnagit, what happened here? Ah. Let's just. Oops. Let's bring this back. So, return to browser session. Oh, weird. Okay, so we're gonna have this one still. Session details. Picture URL. Oh, did I mess up the... Wait, sandbox session. Oh, look at this. Sandbox session DTO. messing up everything. Okay. Let's look at create session first. So this is the one that's going to do all the stuff. Oh, sorry, not this one. Let's see. We're not going to pass env here. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so that's the sandbox session DTO. I'm having a hard time separating the actual session from the server and this session we create for. I want to change. The problem is, the thing I can't get around is this. We have sandbox is SDK, sandboxes, resume, some ID. Like this is the sandbox, but we also have another sandbox, which is connect to sandbox. So you would have like session is like sandbox or create session. And then you would connect to sandbox passing in the session, and that's a sandbox. So it's like, it's so weird. But what we could do instead is like, we could have SDK sandboxes create session, and internally that would actually call resume. So we could still have resume, but it wouldn't actually it would not actually because then you have the session, right? So this makes a lot more sense to me. So it resumes, it creates the session, it does all the connects, does all the Git stuff, produces the session, and then you connect to the sandbox however you want. That being directly pass it down to some other node environment like React Native, where you can also use connect to sandbox, or down to the browser, where you can also use connect to sandbox for the browser. I think that makes more sense. But at the same time, you really should check like the status of the. No. Like, should this be called client? Yeah, maybe it should be called client. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that, because a session is more an object of details about your session, and then client is very typical for. Okay, let's do that. Let's call this client. And I'm really sorry about like users having to deal with these terminology changes, but it's really important. Like, it's super, super important that you have the right terminology. So we're gonna have a sandbox, and that reflects the actual state of the sandbox. So you know if it's up to date, you can check its boot up type, all of that stuff. Sorry, this is resume. You can create a session on it, because it needs to be started to be able to create a session. And you can do that there. Okay, and then you can connect to Sandbox with a session, and you get the client back to interact with it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we have our session. We're not gonna have this connect, but we're rather gonna make create session. So we're gonna move this. So this is gonna be a create session now. Because this is the thing that's gonna. Yeah, so this is interesting. So if. Oh, yeah, sorry. We need to separate a few things. How are we going to do this? Damn it. Oh, did I call it client? I did call it client. What are you complaining about? Oh, look at that. Isn't that fun? Ah! Let's call it Sandbox client then. Where are you, client? Sandbox client. There we go. But we're still missing a client here. Where's the client? Oh, that's client. There we go. Oh, did I override? Okay, create session. Oh my god. Let's see. So we're definitely gonna do this stuff at the end here. But this session, custom session, is now happening up here. Yeah, and let's rename this to client just to have cool. And then let's rename this to session. Okay, and then we have this internal create session. Let's call it get session. This will be a get session. And then it uses all of this to actually connect. But the point is, this should not happen here. So what we need to do is, let's see. Yeah. So we're going to move all of this stuff over to the actual connecting to the yeah, and we're actually not going to return the environment here. We're going to actually properly write that and source it. Yeah, we're going to make a few changes here. Let's just remove n here and let's remember to actually add it. Oh, let's not do that, but let's call this sandbox session. And then what we're going to do is move the logic we just had over here, which is going to be function, async function, connect to sandbox. And that's going to take a sandbox session. And then we have to, okay, so we don't have the picture URL there for some reason. Oh, it's picture URL. And then we have the agent connection. From agent connection, I guess this is session.version, picture version, no, protocol version. Wait, oh, sorry. That's coming from here. And then default subscription is coming from here. Oh. Okay, this is coming together now. So that would be session. Is that sandbox ID or ID? Is ID the actual sandbox ID? I think we should change that. That's confusing. Yeah, let's rename this to sandbox ID. And then we need the API client. So this would be session dot latest picture version equals session. Let's see. We're gonna make all of this work, but how are we gonna deal with this Git stuff? Oh, yeah, sorry. So node agent client. How are we gonna do this? Pong detection timeout. Where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is not about, we still need this in, this we still need in, this is strictly gonna return a client. Agent client. I'm thinking that needs the API client. Why does it need the API client? We need to figure that out because we can't pass that in there. But create session. Oh, sorry. Create session. It needs to handle this stuff. And then let's clean up a little bit here. Okay, so why does this need the API client? What's that used for? Oh, it's used for the reconnect. Okay, but we can't do that. Shit. And the reason is because this is going to run in a node environment that doesn't have the API token, like React Native, for example. Pa, 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 pa. How are we going to deal with that? So the thing is, in the browser, the reconnect is just a callback. Yeah, maybe we have to do that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We have to make it the same interface. So basically, yeah, exactly. So this connect thing here doesn't take just a session. It takes an object where you have session. Session. Sandbox session, and then get session. Yeah. And then get session. And this get session is what we use instead of the API client. But the problem with this is is that it complicates connecting to. But maybe we can still have connect. And what connect does is internally doing this. Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. This we have to do it like this, but let's make a change here. So node client has hi there. I'm working on the CodeSandbox SDK. Yeah. If you haven't heard of CodeSandbox or the CodeSandbox SDK, it's a thing, and you can search it on the web to get some context. But please ask me any questions if you have any specific questions. Get session would be Sandbox session, and then we're gonna pass. Oh yeah, so this would be await this dot get session. Yeah, exactly. This is how it's gonna be. Java and Kotlin. Why you want to get into that? What's the higher level goal? What does Java and Kotlin enable you to do? Let's see. So now we have that in place. So that means we can do get session. Get session. Amazing. I love it. I love it. It's but it's the best possible way to learn programming. It's to do something fun, right? So what I would do is I wouldn't try to learn Java or Kotlin. You're gonna kill yourself trying to learn the language. Go and find go and find tutorials on Minecraft modding, like people that actually shows you how to create a mod for Minecraft. Get your environment up and running, create a good experience of like making a change, see what happens in the game, and then do a very simple thing. Don't get ambitious. Just find a tutorial that does like a hello world of Minecraft modding and just start playing with it. And whenever you want to add something new, you go and find another tutorial, or you ask an AI or something. And then you build from there, because your goal isn't to learn Java or Kotlin, right? It's to do Minecraft modding. So go do that. Go create a very, very simple Minecraft mod. And you can do that without understanding the language at all. Just find some good tutorials on it. I think that's where a lot of people fall off the wagon. It's like the example of like, how does the school system work? And the typical example is like how to understand an engine. Do you learn about all the different parts of an engine first, and then you kind of infer how an engine works? Or do you look at the entire engine and you take it apart? And that's how you learn how an engine works and what the different parts actually does in the big system. And then it's the same, like the Minecraft mod is your engine. Just take it apart. And then you'll learn Java and Kotlin in a very specific domain. But that, again, that's what your goal is, to do Minecraft modding, not to do like server, like microservices or something like that, right? Let's see. Okay, so now we fix this thing. So now we can actually create, connect to sandboxes from a node environment. So that's great. So what we want to do here is yeah. So what we need to do when we create a session is that we need a client. So if, let's just fix the Git thing first, and then we're going to look at the environment after that. So if custom session .git, we need to create a client, connect to sandbox from this node thing. We're going to pass it the session, and then get session would be yeah, exactly. Oh, wait. Why are you complaining? Oh yeah, sorry. It won't be get session. It will be. Oh, this is interesting. So we just wanna. What do we want? So this isn't. Yeah. So this isn't really. This is the session DTO. This is not the actual session. This is the session. Well, and the thing is, we don't need a full-on session. We really just need a token, which is interesting. How are we gonna do this reconnect? Well, we have to start a VM at least. This.api client, this ID. Yeah, so, but this doesn't actually create this thing. How are we gonna do this? The whole point is that we're creating like you're never gonna reconnect here. How are we gonna do this? It's almost like I want this thing to be its own thing. Oh, yeah, I think I know what I actually want now. I want the get session to be this thing. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. But then global session doesn't make... Ah, dag nagget. How are we gonna do this? So this is gonna give us the picture manager response. Yeah. The point is, like, practically it won't really reconnect in this context when we're writing Git and everything, because it's just a very short session. Oh, it's gonna be good to have this as part of the API. I'm just thinking, should I make that reconnect actually work, or not? It doesn't really make sense in this context. But we still kind of need it for the... Oh, wait a minute. Should we rather do... Yeah, wait a minute. I think we should create a connect thing. Yeah, sorry. So what we're going to do, async connect. So we're still going to have like custom session create options. So this is going to be... Oh, I'm thinking. But now this.connect is... No, I don't think that makes sense anymore. But now it's... Fuck. API design. API fucking design. Because now it's... Like normally you could do like resume, connect. But now you have to do resume, create session, connect. So yeah, no, I think it makes sense to still have connect. Yes, and then we're going to use that. Sorry. And that means we need to go and grab the same thing, the actual session, and then we're going to do... Yeah, and this is going to return the client. But the problem here is... no, we have a catch-22 thing. So I want this connect to use create session. But create session needs to connect. So that, yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. But let's see, we have to make this thing correct. So first of all, we need to have the actual session here. So this would be session data And then this is the actual session. Or let's call it sandbox session. No, let's call it session. Fuck. And this would be session data. Where does that come from? Picture. Okay, fine. So we have the session here, so we can actually use that session. Now the thing is that when we reconnect, we need to change out something from the actual session. So what I think we need to do here is generate session. And we actually need to take the picture manager response, and that equals this dot picture manager response. Why can't I do that? Why can't I point to this? Oh. Wait. Equals. Why can't I have default this? Can't you do that? What? Are you kidding me? Okay, anyways, that's weird. Picture manager response. So picture manager response equals picture or this stuff. Oh, that's the thing. And then we're gonna do the return thingy. Let's see. So our session is gonna be generate session, and that's what we're gonna use initially. And then what we're gonna do is generate session await. Doesn't that return thingy? Oh, it's because it's, oh, it doesn't, oh, sorry, this needs to be async. Okay, so if you actually need to reconnect, it's gonna start a VM again, regenerate the session, and give you the correct session. And then at the end here, we're gonna return that session regardless. Okay. Now, when you actually connect, we're gonna say, so what's interesting here is that if we connect directly and we say, yeah, basically this without all the fluff here. Let's see. Oh, there's something I'm missing here. Get session. I'm not sure if I care much about this session data. No, I don't. No, I don't. We want get session to be custom session, this dot picture manager response. And then this is going to be the actual session. Yeah. Okay. And all of this stuff is going to actually be part of, so get session is going to be the actual session. Return. Is it opt? Oops. No, okay, so that's not this. Okay. Oh my god. This was way worse than I thought it would be. Feature manager response. Yeah, because that has the... No, but it says session data. Yeah, it's session. Oh, session. Okay. Yeah, session. Okay, but now we don't really need this, right? We don't really need this thing anymore. What was it? Not picture manager response. But it's gonna be... Oh, fuck. But we have another issue. Okay. Let's just... Picture token. Picture URL. User workspace path. Fine. Get custom n. That doesn't matter anymore. So we're not actually gonna pass that custom n. That's fine. Oh, sorry. This is gonna be sandbox session. Yeah, and that will be opt n. Yeah, so this would be... Why is this session create options? Isn't this like custom session? Or is that what we're using? Ah, oh, there's so much history here. Oh, okay. Rename custom session. Okay, and we need to flip these around because this is actually going to be optional. And then if no custom session, let's rename this. So if no custom session, we're going to return everything as if... So we have this global session. What's this global session? This is just grabbing stuff from the picture manager response. I don't think we should do that. What we're really gonna do is we're gonna return the same thing, only we're gonna be using... It's gonna be an empty object. There's not gonna be a session ID. Maybe this is... Yeah, there's no host token. And this is gonna be picture manager response, picture token. Exactly. Okay, cool. So now we have a method to grab an actual sandbox session, and that's based on a picture manager response and potentially a custom session. So if you don't have a custom session, we're just going to return this sandbox session object, which is a mix of some details on the picture manager response. Well, it's basically details on the picture manager response because that picture manager response is the global user. But if you have a custom session, we're going to go in and create that session, and then we're going to return information about that session instead. Yes. So when we do connect, what I think we can do here is, yes, sorry. So why is this not create session? Oh, sorry, that's create session. Yeah, so create session now is correct. Yes, sorry. But then we're gonna do this dot get session. And custom session, exactly. Return client. Now the only thing that's not good about this is that if you're passing now a custom session, we're actually gonna connect to the sandbox. By the way, this get session. Yeah, and this is just gonna be const session equals. Yeah, I have a session shortly. Okay, now it's cleaning up. Now the only problem is when we're calling create session here, it's going to create this client connection and do stuff. And I think maybe we're gonna have a private function called initialize session. Yeah, so check this out. But this is coming together, private async initialize session. So this is gonna, this is definitely gonna have initialize dedicated session or custom. I'm calling it custom session here. So this is gonna do, well, it depends on, okay. So we definitely have that. So we're gonna initialize a custom session connecting to the sandbox if we have Git credentials or we have an environment or both. Yeah, so we need the sandbox session and we need a custom. Yeah. Okay, and then if we have custom session, if no custom session.get or no custom session.env, we're just gonna return. Yeah. And if this is not the case, let's remove that thing. So this is rather going to be if custom session.get, we're going to do this thing, return client. So the point is that we're going to, if we have a custom session, we're going to initialize it. And doing so, we need to connect to it. But what we can do here is when we just connect the sandbox, we don't have to recreate the connection. We can just use that connection that was used to initialize. Oh, I know what we should do. We should do the opposite. We shouldn't do that here. We should do this when we connect. Or fuck. When should we do this? So when we connect, we're creating a sandbox, and then we could rather check. We could pass in the client. No, but we already have the client here. Thinking. Yeah, sorry. So the point here was to not do create session, but rather do get session. And then we manually, but I don't like that decoupling. It's so complex because the point is that if you're just using the SDK in Node and want to immediately connect to it, you can just do that on a single connection. If you configure Git or the environment variables. But you might just want to create a session and then pass it to a Node environment like React Native or something. You know, I have a session now. I have to think about this, I think. Oh, you're logged out. Together AI. Yeah. Do I have Authy here? Download Authy. For fuck's sake. Yeah. Anyways, I have to jump off. I'm gonna do another stream and conclude on this. This was very annoying. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be like there's 3 different ways of connecting. It's like create a session, pass it to the browser. Create a session, pass it to a Node client environment. Create a session and just connect to it immediately. And that's what we're enabling now. And it's gonna look super simple, but it's under the hood, it's complex. Anyways, bye for now. We'll speak soon.